Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream session with immigrationquestion.com. We're delighted to have you join us for today's series. Take a minute to think about this. You've spent years building your life, following all of the immigration rules, and working towards your dream of a better future in the country of your dreams. Then overnight, the rules you once relied on change, and life as you know it is now marred with uncertainty. Sad as it may sound, it's the reality for many immigrants. Immigration policies are always evolving, and the recent executive orders have once again reshaped the landscape. But what do these changes really mean for you and your loved ones? The essence of our topic today, understanding the impact of recent executive orders on immigration, simplifies these recent executive orders, detailing the impacts it has on the current immigration landscape and all immigrants. My name is Chanel Ford. I'm joining live from New York, and I'll be your host for today's session. Today, we're joined by Principal Attorney of Gahee and Associates, Mr. Naresh Gahee. Hello, welcome.
It's such a pleasure being with you, Chanel. We have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, definitely.
Chanel, I'll be hitting the nail on the head. So, in a sense, we are going to talk about one executive order at each time, because, as you know, that there's so many orders which are being passed, and it's like, you know, it's just going to kind of hamper a lot of things in the country. But what people are concerned about the most today is about the security and safety. And in fact, Chanel, I've been getting questions from people that even if they have work permits in the country, whether they should be scared, or whether they're green card holders, they should be scared, and if they're citizens, they should be scared. Because one thing that I definitely want to discuss about is stopping people, these babies who are going to be born in America, stripping away the child citizenship issues. That's the biggest one. That's kind of yeah, the, that's the discussion we'll be having today.
Definitely. Okay, so I thank you for getting us jumped off and saying that, the birthright
Birthright, right?
citizenship is going to be affected and maybe the biggest red flag. Tell us more details that you know about that.
So there's some good news that this is the second court from Maryland which came up and said that the Trump administration cannot get rid of birthright citizenship. Now, this is an amazing decision because this is the second court which has joined in saying that, listen, Mr. President, we're not going to allow you to kind of take over the judiciary of a country, and your executive orders cannot just blatantly disregard the Constitution of the United States. And Chanel, what you're looking at over here is under the 14th Amendment, it's clearly stated, and the writing is on the wall, that people who are born in America, they are US citizens at birth. And the bigger question here is that can the executive branch of the United States, can they actually override the judiciary of the United States, or can they override the Constitution of the United States? The answer is no. And that's what judges are saying. So, in a sense, the message is loud and clear to the administration that the writing is on the wall. The best way to describe it is that the writing is on the wall, that the current administration cannot arbitrarily and capriciously disregard a law which has been in existence for more than 150 years. The second
Understood.
part of it, Chanel, is also very important. The government argued, which means the Department of Justice said, that when it came to Native Indians, they were able to kind of, ensure that people who were born, it's an 1800 law, which the government argued, that stated that in the 1800s, children born to Native Indians were not considered to be U.S. citizens. But the judge said that's a bygone story. Look at the law that came out from the Supreme Court. Read the 14th Amendment, and if you really, really want to change the citizenship law in the country of children who are born over here, the bottom line is go back to the Congress of the United States, and then you can make a decision as to how the law should be kind of, whether the law should be changed or no. Because without a constitutional amendment, this is not going to be possible at all. And as someone who, I mean, I've been on Fox News, I've been on ABC News, not on ABC, my apologies, my sincere apologies, on BBC. Then I've been on many other channels, Pix 11, I've been discussing various issues. But it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Trump administration to get rid of birthright citizenship.
Understood. So, to go a little bit deeper in that, and thank you for that explanation, with the current orders in place, what can immigrants and their families do to stay within compliance currently?
So, first thing is that, you know, let's talk about people who are undocumented and people who have overstayed the visas. What can they do and how they need to approach the problem? Number one is don't be scared, but get up and start meeting with a lawyer. Number one, to know your rights. And if you're undocumented, you may have light at the end of the tunnel, depending upon the facts and circumstances of case. The biggest mistake that people do, Chanel, is they just stay put. They don't do anything about the case. And then they get into troubled waters. The bottom line is it's a wake up call for you to start meeting with your own lawyers and tell them, hey, listen, this is my problem. And sometimes you may have a solution. To give a simple example, Chanel, sometimes people's cases have been denied in the past. And probably the law changed, or probably the circumstances of the person changed. Through that, he may be eligible for a green card. Take an example. Your case was administratively closed by the judge, and now your US citizen child is over 21. He may be able to apply for adjustment of status in the US. So, time changes the case also. A denial in the past does not mean that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There may be light at the end of the tunnel, but it's your job to be vigilant and exercise your rights. It's your job to make sure that you do your very best. It is your job to make sure that you put your best foot forward to make sure that you're legal in this country, and meet up with lawyers. And don't be scared, because if you're going to stay put and if ICE comes to your doorstep and if they pick you up, that's not the best situation for you to be in. Just be proactive. That is the first thing I would recommend everyone, Chanel.
Thank you. Thank you for your insight. Um, Given these shifts, what are the biggest challenges within this process that immigrants will see?
The number one challenge they'll see is if they are out of status, which means if they overstayed the visas or if they've been undocumented. The challenge will be how to become legal, how to stay legal, and how the 4 years are going to be passing under the current administration. Because if you look at the statements of Tom Homan, he says that we are definitely going after dangerous criminals, but at the same time, let me repeat the word, at the same time, if someone that we see is undocumented, we consider that to be a collateral matter, but we are going to pick the person up because he has violated the laws of the United States. So the common misconception is that, oh, I've just overstayed my visa. I don't think so I'm at risk. You are definitely at a risk because you have violated the laws of the United States by overstaying your visa. So that is something they're saying, that you are not going to get a special privilege just because you overstayed your visa. Please get that out of your mind. As far as you are in violation of the immigration laws of the United States, there is a likelihood that you can be picked up in the country. It's very strict right now.
Understood. To our amazing audience, thank you for joining us. If you're tuning in now from any social media platforms, we're excited to be joined here by attorney Gahey from Gahey and Associates. Immigrationquestion.com is a platform designed to simplify immigration processes. Ask your immigration questions for free in any language and get connected with a verified attorney who can offer legal guidance. You may also receive a free confidential initial consultation. Visit us at www.immigrationquestion.com and sign up today. Again, that's www.immigrationquestionsingular.com. Very quickly before we go
Also,
into
there's
our
one thing which I like, Chanel. The app is also very useful for people to use because I think the app is something that people can use, and I think the response, I believe, what I've seen when I get questions through the app is much faster. Why is it that your app is faster? Like any reason nowadays? I've been getting some questions on the app, and I feel it's been great that we've been replying to questions there.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Definitely lots of updates that have been coming through there. So I'm glad that the use has been
The
great for
mobile
you.
apps are pretty good too. Yes, that's pretty good. I've been getting questions from the mobile apps. Good.
I love it.
All right. So now a few questions that people have been asking me. Let's, kind of the topic is very interesting today. What should you do when ICE comes to your doorstep? Very important question. The very first thing is under the Fourth Amendment, it's your right to privacy. So you need to, first thing is that if someone is knocking on your door, and if you know if it's ICE, start recording the conversation first. Even before opening the door, do you have a warrant to arrest me from the proper authorities? The word is proper authorities, which means from a magistrate or from the state judge. They may say, have a warrant, but do you have a proper warrant to enter my house? Record that. That's your legal right to record. If they say no, they have to be denied an entry by you. Your second right is the right to remain silent. That's under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. So anything that you say is going to be used against you. And you don't have a duty to cooperate. You have the right to remain silent and let them, I'm just going to be silent. They cannot push you to talk. That's very important. The next thing that you have to know, you also have the right to counsel under the Sixth Amendment of the US Constitution. Once, if you exercise those rights, you're going to be absolutely fine in terms of at least dealing with ICE. If they detain you, immediately let them know that you need a lawyer. And when you call up a lawyer, always let the lawyer know two things. What is your alien number? And secondly, let them know which detention facility you are at. That will make a big difference. That's what I would recommend people to do.
Hope everyone's taking notes today.
Thank you.
Before we jump into our live Q&A session, what advice would you give any immigrants or anyone dealing with this situation who may feel overwhelmed during this time?
Bottom line for them is stay calm, meet with the lawyer, and start treating up your paperwork. And make sure that you remember your rights under the Constitution of the United States, and try not to go towards the border, because when you're going to travel towards the border like Buffalo or any of those borders, there's a very strong likelihood you'll be picked up. And please be careful. In certain places, the police have been given powers, like in New York and Long Island. The police have the right, if you have even the slightest criminal record, they can stop you now and they can hand you over to ICE. So better thing is that sanctuary cities are good, but be very careful about what is happening in the country. So that's my
Fantastic.
advice to people, and start meeting up with your lawyer. And even if you had an old case, make sure that you actually try to work on your older case and try to get some legal status in the country. Now, take an example. You come from a country which is at war right now, or you cannot go back because you came out of the closet and you realize you're a gay. Great case. You just came out of the closet. You may still be eligible for a late asylum. You may. So, end of the day, start meeting up with good lawyers, go with experienced lawyers, and see what they can do. But I must tell you that sometimes you may have a relief, sometimes you may not have a relief. So, don't blame the lawyer. It's the system of our nation that we have to follow. Lawyers cannot do miracles because they are bound by the system, and they can only do what is allowed within the confines of the legal system of the United States of America.
Thank you so much. We've got some live questions from
Sure.
our viewers. Our first question being from Abdu Marang. I applied for H-1B visa last year and my case is still pending. I heard that the new orders may affect processing time. Is
Yes, so
there
bottom
anything
line
I
is
can
that
do to
you can go
fasten?
for premium processing right away and tell your lawyer to go for premium processing and get the desired result. So please let your lawyer know to file for premium processing. That's my best recommendation to you at this stage. And any advice given by me during this session is general in nature and does not apply to any particular facts or circumstances until an attorney-client agreement is reached between the parties. And any information you're getting on immigrationquestion.com is general in nature. That is a third-party platform which kind of connects lawyers with kind of with the public, and everything is general in nature. And immigrationquestion.com is not exactly a law firm. It's a connectivity platform between the public and lawyers. So I just wanted to make all the disclaimers clear to the public who are over here on this session.
Definitely. Thank you. Our next question is from Damian Thompson. DUI in January 2023, no accident, no injuries, nothing. The
I've
charges
handled
were
many cases like
dismissed.
this. Damien, uh, he should be, he has a good chance of getting the green card. He can, reach us, and we'd be happy to help him. But he should be applying for reliefs as soon as possible before they change the laws, because you also have to understand that Damien should apply as soon as possible because, this a lot of new laws have come in, as you know, and they're very, very kind of draconian in nature. So if I were him, I think he has a good chance of applying for his green card at this stage.
Great. Thank you. And then we have a question from Patrick Mba. I have DACA, but I don't know how the executive orders will affect renewal. Should I renew as soon as possible
Right now,
or can my
DACA is
status
still
be
fine,
revoked?
so you can still renew it. You shouldn't be having any issues with it.
Arna Gupta. My employer is my sponsor for a green card, but I'm hearing about new processing issues and denials. Should my employer expect new conditions?
I think things are going to change, but the faster the process, the better it is. But right now, in decent shape, I wouldn't worry too much.
Neo Cabello. I have L1 visa, but I want to travel outside of the United States soon. Will I face problems to stamp my visa at the US Embassy because of the new executive order?
They'll be very strict, I know for sure. But if your documents are 100% in order, and if you're 100% correct, then speak to a lawyer. But at this time, try to avoid traveling, but things are very, very strict right now. Let things diffuse, then I would take a chance, but I would be very careful before I travel.
Camilla Giovanetti. My husband is a citizen and he petitioned for me, but we've been waiting a long time for approval. Is our green card application affected by the recent orders?
It should not be affected. But if it's been more than 2 years and if your green card is pending, then under 28 USC 1361, you can file for a mandamus action in federal court and get a decision. That will be the fastest way to expedite your case. 28 USC 1331, that would be very helpful to you guys.
Another from Damien. When I was doing I-485, I-130, I-765 applications altogether, how many passport size pictures
I
in
cannot
total are
answer
needed?
that question online because that's a very specific question. He should be retaining an attorney and let the attorney do the right thing because he's asking a very specific question. He should, and especially, if you're dealing with someone who has a record or something, please go through an attorney. I would strongly recommend him that.
Definitely. Demir Aslan. I received government assistance while on a visa. Will that affect my green card application under the new policy?
May affect or may not affect, depend on what benefit was taken, when it was taken, and what was the purpose of the benefit. So it all depends, and I think on the benefit that was taken, when, where, and what time. So that is critically important in these cases. And then after that, will you know, because that's a public charge is a ground of inadmissibility under the INA. So if you're inadmissible, then of course your green card can be denied. And things are not as easy as before in immigration. Things are only getting difficult. So it's such a pleasure being with you, Chanel, on the show. And I
Thank you
think
so
thank you
much.
for hosting this show. Like 2:30 is a perfect time on a Friday. Cannot get better than that, really.
Thank you so much for joining.
Wonderful seeing
And
you. And thank you
to
all.
everyone
So,
else,
Chanel, you can continue the show. And thank you to everyone. My name is Naresh M. Gai. I'm from Gai and Associates, the principal attorney. And we'll be back again, upon request from immigration question. I'll be happy to be here. And thank you so much. And I would like to take a leave, Chanel. Thank you so
thank
much
you.
for
See you
hosting a
again
fabulous
soon.
show.
Take care. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Again, if you need any questions answered, please visit immigrationquestion.com, sign up for free, and get your questions answered by an immigration attorney soon. Join us next time. Again,